were a lot of things that were said, and he tried to correct all the lies and the claim that he was heavily betrayed and things that were bordering on slavery, because there's been talks about slavery in football.
When you talk about hard work, when you talk about betrayal, you talk about Victor Osimhen. In today's video, we are going to be taking a look at one of the biggest betrayals in football history, and it has to do with Victor Osimhen and Napoli. All these very informations we are going to be sharing in today's video. But before we continue, if you are new to our channel, kindly subscribe, turn on your notification bell icon, make sure to leave a comment as regards to the contents of this very video.
What's your favorite food?
Amala.
It is only right for me to give an expose on the biography and the struggles of Victor Osimhen. Born on the 29th of December 1998, Victor Osimhen is currently 25 years old. At the age of 3, his father and some neighbors discovered that he can actually play football. But the problem was that Victor Osimhen was very small and too skinny to be a professional footballer. Victor Osimhen had 6 siblings, 4 girls and 2 other older brothers. Victor Osimhen is actually the last child of his parents. At a very young age of 7, Victor Osimhen's mom passed away, and 3 months later, Victor Osimhen's father lost his job. According to Victor Osimhen's sister, whose name is Blessing Osimhen, the family of 8 left their 2-bedroom apartment and entered a 1-bedroom apartment, cause life was very difficult for them.
I grew up in a place called Olishosu, area of Lagos State, and where I grew up, my humble beginning was really tough for me. I lost my mom when I was a very young boy, and after my mom died, 3 months later, I lost my father. My father lost his job.
Just to make ends meet, Victor Osimhen and his siblings started hawking pure water, because the money that they will make every day is not even enough to buy food for the family. Victor started doing errand boy for his neighborhood. Everyone that is selling in kiosk, Victor started doing the job of going to buy bread for them, going to buy 1 or 2 food items for them for a specified commission. Now, when those persons were interviewed 3 years ago, many of them shared their stories, and it is very funny that sometimes Osimhen will be given money to go and buy bread. Osimhen will use half of the money for his training kit. Sometimes he will use the whole money, to buy a boot for his training. In the year 2013, when Victor Osimhen finished his secondary school education, his father alongside his siblings rallied around and got some money and gave him to go and get the JAMB form so that he can further his education in the university. Victor Osimhen used the money to buy a new boot for his training and deceived his father and his siblings that he has actually bought a JAMB form and he has written the exam. When JAMB results came out, his father started asking him questions. Victor, where is your JAMB result? And that was when it dawned on everyone that nothing can be done for Victor Osimhen to go to school. Rather, everyone should support his football career. Victor Osimhen's gamble on education paid off in 2015 when he was invited for the Under-17 World Cup. Victor Osimhen went for that very tournament and he returned as the highest goal scorer. In 2017, Victor Osimhen got his first big deal to the German side Wolfsburg. From Wolfsburg, he went on loan to Belgium side. From Belgium, he went to Lille, a football club in France. From Lille, he went to Napoli on a big money move of 70 million euros. Victor Osimhen, in the year 2017, built his first house. Victor Osimhen currently have 3 estates in Lagos. This young man has amassed a lot of money for himself. He's one of the hottest striker in Europe and the best footballer in Africa. During the 2021-2022 season, Victor Osimhen was awarded the best Serie A player and he even won the highest goal scorer. But a club that he nurtured into their first championship in 30 years stabbed him in the back the following year.
Let's talk about Victor Osimhen. I had a call with Victor Osimhen yesterday, and thanks to Amajipini for actually setting that one up. And we spoke at length, and he poured his heart out to me, but because I didn't get the permission to probably record it, and he hadn't landed in Nigeria, so we couldn't actually do this. But I actually summarized all that had actually happened with Victor Osimhen. Of course, before then, Galatasaray did a video to actually welcome Victor Osimhen. He's going to be earning about £113,000 a week, if they can actually help us with that particular video there for Victor Osimhen. But if that's not even possible, let's quickly press it further. There were a lot of things that were said, and he tried to correct all the lies and the claim that he was heavily betrayed and things that were bordering on slavery, because there's been talks about slavery in football, and it's unfortunate this was happening. Let's actually get straight into it, starting off with the first graphics there that just actually encapsulated it. And this goes back to 2022, because Victor Osimhen actually had a great 2022-2023. And if we were to start it off from that particular point, certainly looking at it, he said that Al Hilal actually came in 2022, not even in 2024, and they offered 75 million. Napoli said no, that 500 million pounds on nothing. That scared them away. In 2023, PSG came, according to Victor Osimhen, and he said that they said 150, they offered 150, and SSC Napoli turned it down. In 2023, they had a gentleman agreement between SSC Napoli, the club, Laurentiis, the president, and Victor Osimhen, that Victor Osimhen will get the release clause, 130 million, but that means that after 1 year, he will go. So he was meant to get transferred from the club this year, but the club did everything humanly possible to actually keep him in the club and tie him down to the club. And he said, things are not so well with me. Of course, PSG also came for the second time, 110 million they put on the table. SSC Napoli still insisted and refused to buy the cherry. If we're to press further than that, of course, in that particular conversation, he still went on to talk about the fact that his mental health was heavily impacted after the whole coconut issue, the thing on TikTok and the rest of them. He said there was no going back afterwards. And things were happening within the club ranks that he could not speak about. And of course, when Antonio Conte came in, Antonio Conte pleaded with him that he should stay, and he told the coach, I love you, I would have loved to play with you, but things have deteriorated so bad that I cannot stay at the club. But the club went on to put out a statement that Antonio Conte did not want Victor Osimhen in the club. Of course, Antonio Conte yesterday night released a statement to that particular effect, just trying everything humanly possible to probably suppress Victor Osimhen. Of course, his defiance and refusal to play for Napoli and sign a new contract meant that he was frozen out of the squad. And he also claimed that Chelsea came in, and Chelsea and the owners that are hedge fund mavericks, so to speak, tried to swoop in and act like sharks like they do in the US, and just the typical hedge fund thinking, and they were trying to capitalize on this. They were already bidding for Victor Osimhen, talking with SSC Napoli without talking to Victor Osimhen as far back as the 1st of August, according to Victor Osimhen, if we were to press it further. And they were trying to do so much with Victor Osimhen without even including him. Then Victor Osimhen had the PIF come back again with Al Hilal this time around, saying that they were going to buy Victor Osimhen for an agreed fee, and they were going to pay him £30 million per annum. Personal terms were agreed for his daughter to get a school there, get a mansion, and every other thing in between. And SSC Napoli on the 29th found a way to scuttle that particular deal by insisting, moving the goalpost and insisting they wanted more and more. And they said they wanted 5 million more. Victor Osimhen called the club and said, called Al Hilal and said, no problem. If they want 5 million, I will give them from my 30 million to just make this move happen. And Napoli said no, they wanted a sell-on clause, they wanted more bonuses, they wanted this, they wanted that, and they ended up scuttling that particular deal. Of course, Al Hilal went on to buy Ivan Toney, and that was unfortunate. Then Chelsea, trying to become predators here, found out that Victor Osimhen might become desperate, and they decided that they were going to do something very, very funny. They offered him about 130 million. 30 minutes after that particular deal with Al Hilal went off, they offered him £130,000 a week gross. And Osimhen said no, that 43% goes to the British government, 20% goes to the NHIS, I beg your pardon, which is compulsory, and you still take £20,000 of that 130 for image rights. How How is that possible? What is now left in the salary? If you take out 43%, you take out 20% from another, and you now take out £20,000 from deal 130. And it was unfortunate. He said he wasn't going to bite. And they were holding off, waiting, and trying to press him through Napoli to ensure that Victor Osimhen gets desperate and takes this particular offer. And Osimhen said, if this is what Napoli wants to reduce me to, I'm going to call their bluff and I ain't going to move. I'm going to be on their wage, stay for 3 months, and let's see how that one goes. And on and on and on. And Chelsea went out, and I think, according to them, they put out a statement there that he wanted 500,000. And according to Mikel Obi, who was helping engineer that particular deal, nothing like that was actually put out there. It's unfortunate all that has happened. All they tried to do was grind a man to a club where he said he wasn't part of anymore, he didn't want to play for anymore, and he didn't even want to have anything to do with them. He didn't want to touch the club with a 10-foot pole, but they insisted and said, you must stay and do as we want, which is unfortunate.
You know, ladies, I've listened passionately to Aaron, and the only thing I've heard is that he has more money than we all